Welcome, 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 each and every one of you. We are so delighted that you decided to show up today for what we think is something fabulous in store. We are hosting our Globinar for cross borders and global travel. And the cross border cities that we are connecting you with today is Atlanta and Mumbai. Atlanta, Georgia, in the United States, Mumbai, India. And these two cultures are connected for so many reasons. But the beautiful thing about Global Chamber, if you've not heard of us before, is that we are growing in 555 metros around the globe. 550. Keep that in mind. And Global Chamber is also celebrating its 10th year this year, 2025. And you are here for part of that celebration. And you say, who is Global Chamber? It is the one and only Global Chamber of Commerce that is situated in those 555 metros and growing around the globe. That's who we are. And what is our mission? Our mission is to do business globally as easy as we do it locally. And I'm sure many of us have stories that we can share about that experience. So be prepared to share, be prepared to connect, be prepared to get connected as well. And so I have a special partner in this global Globinar for cross borders today, and I will introduce her shortly. But what I'll do is going to go ahead and introduce myself, tell you where I'm housed, and then I'll introduce our partner who's doing this. So my name is Dana Austin. I'm the executive director for Global Chamber in Atlanta, Georgia. I also have the privilege for the past year and a half of being the director for Global Chamber Author Series. So within Global Chamber, we have several different, I would say, specific foci group. And the ones that I try to engage in are certainly ones that can add value and I can add value to as well. So Global Chamber at Large, Global Chamber League of Extraordinaries, Global Chamber League of Opportunities, Global Chamber Nonprofits, Global Chamber Women Leaders, and even the international cooking component. I ended on that note because our next speaker that's going to introduce herself shortly has also a strong connection in the food industry as well as travel. And so travel is a big component of what we do as business owners and also as leaders in our industry. So I'd like to introduce to you my partner in crime, so to speak, for today, Mona Contractor. Mona, would you introduce yourself and tell us what city you're hailing from and about your business?
Oh, yes, sure. First of all, hello everyone, and it's so good to be part of the Global Chamber meetings once again. And thank you so much, Dana, for encouraging me to do this because past 1 year has been really challenging for me, but now I'm just fine and I'm back on the roll. So just to make it short, I am Mona Contractor. I live in Mumbai. I've always lived in, born and brought up and lived in Mumbai. And I am into my main passion and business is travel. So I do very bespoke itineraries for people who wish to come to India and experience India, not just travel, to experience the country because India is diverse. It's different. And it cannot be done at the click of any of the travel portals. So that's where I come in, and it's a complex country to understand also because sometimes we lose a lot of travelers to Southeast Asian countries because the deals are good and all, but India is different. It has its own character, which one if one wants to explore, then yes, that's when I come in the picture because you need a lot of information and things like that in India before you come and before you experience a beautiful country like this, which is so beautiful. The stronghold of this country is its spirituality and the humongous population that we have and the diverse cultures, and of course we have fabulous ancient history which is hidden, which is not yet out. So that's where I come in, and then that's where I help you guys to explore it further. and just enhance your avenues in whatever you do. Because, India can help you in every which way. How to conduct the businesses, how to conduct your life, how to conduct your health and your physical challenges, mental challenges, everything it can help you because we have so many options to offer. So I can just go on and on and on and on. And I can just not stop talking about India. So I'm going to leave it here. And of course, my information is always there in Global Chamber, my website, my email, where you guys can connect. But as of now, while we are speaking, Dana, if you don't mind, I'm going to talk about, our meeting for today, where we were actually physically supposed to meet for lunch today because she was supposed to be in Bombay, but for some reason she couldn't make it. And I'm really missing that because you know what, Dana, you have to come here. Or, I'm going to come to America and have lunch with you, and then we can do a meeting again like this. So I'm so looking forward
Absolutely.
to a physical meet, wherever in the world. Because now Global Chamber is everywhere. And I'm so excited that I'm like, I was missing it so much, and now I'm just part of it again. And I look forward to attending more meetings, meeting more and more people. So yeah, that's it. And
Absolutely.
please shoot questions if you all want. And Dana, I'm handing it over to you now.
Thank you so much, Mona. We are delighted because I think I met Mona well over 2 years ago in Global Chamber. And the ability to make connections with incredible people, or as our CEO and founder, Doug Brunke says, awesome people. And he doesn't use that word lightly. He truly means that because what Global Chamber has the ability to do is to attract like-minded people who wants to make meaningful business connections. And whether you want to, do trade or local business in the metro global chainer sphere, it happens easily. So I'm going to share a story. As Mona shared one, we were supposed to physically be in Mumbai together today, and it will happen. And what I will do on the next go round is I'm going to reach out to Mona first about any details that I have to do with travel to her country because she's the expert in that field. And here's the story I want to share. I know others have this very same similar story that have been a part of Global Chamber. Wherever I travel, I reach out for our Global Chamber connections. As soon as I had India on my radar, when I knew it was coming to fruition, immediately I reached out to Mona. Immediately I reached out to Shankar. I'm going to give him an opportunity to speak as well. Um, and I knew they were in different parts of India, but I was going to be in those spaces and could not go without making that connection. And what we decided is like, let's make this across borders as we often do in Global Chamber when we meet up with another metro for Global Chamber. And so I was traveling to Egypt. I reached out to our contacts and here in the U.S. that had connections in Cairo, and immediately Doug Brunke, Cesar Trabanco, our leaders for Global Chamber, put me in touch with Omar. Omar is an advisory for Global Chamber in Cairo. And when I tell you every connection, it just gets better and sweeter. And so the beauty of it is we met up, he and I and his wife went to dinner. Food is a very intricate part of travel, and we're going to get into that. Um, and what should have been maybe like an hour for coffee or something was 3 hour dinner. And if we could have gone longer, we would have. And I didn't seek to find out what Omar's business was prior to coming. But one thing I do know about travel, whether it's local and you're going to someone's home or their space, is that you bring a gift. You offer a gift to them for the hospitality. And so I had a copy of my book, which is around tea, and tea culture, customs, and so forth. And I signed it, and that was my gift to them. Their gift to me was, I can't even put a value on it. I can't even explain it to the extent of what it was. But what I did learn is that Omar is responsible in Egypt for exporting fruit, citrus, oranges in particular. And that really shocked me because, it's an arid country, at least in the Cairo part. And I said, well, how are you growing these oranges? In the United States, it's easy to see why Florida California are great exporters of oranges. In Cairo, it was very difficult. So he talked about the Nile River and how that water, there's like under channel for watering the citrus areas. Okay, so I parked that information because I wasn't going to be importing oranges to the United States. Why? Because there's limitations on that with our government. Number one, and that's not my industry. The second thing was I knew that as a connector, somebody else would need that. And little lo and behold, before I made it back to Cairo, because we traveled throughout the country of Egypt, I met this lady on the plane who was from Spain, and they were going through a drought, and they were short on, guess what? You guessed it, oranges. I immediately, while we got off the plane, I put her in contact with Omar. I mean, that was just instant. She wasn't a Global Chamber member yet, but I knew that we can make connections that are meaningful. They connected. 2 days later, they met up, and the rest is history. That he was exporting oranges to Spain. So that's the beauty of what we do. Now, what Mona and I are going to talk about, and then we're going to entertain some questions. So be prepared to share that. And we are following the chat. So thank you, Ravia, Yogesh is in Mumbai, and Shankar, and all the rest of you who are joining or listening to the recording. We're going to talk about our respective cities or even countries, because I want to talk about Georgia, but more specifically, metropolitan Atlanta. Atlanta is comprised of 29 counties. A lot of times people think of Atlanta just as downtown Atlanta, but we have 29 counties that actually make up Atlanta. And would you believe we have over 29 languages spoken in the metropolitan Atlanta area? If I say what are the top languages, I'll give you the top five. So English, Spanish, Korean, Hindi, and Arabic. Those are just a sampling. So when you are traveling, it's really important to get a sense of the country, the city that you're traveling to, the makeup of the people that make that city so diverse and rich. And of course, we'll get into social understandings of what's going on in the climate and the temperature at the time. And food. Food brings people together. And then I want to talk to you about the businesses that are the top for metropolitan Atlanta, but including Georgia, because we're such a huge state in terms of agriculture too. So the top five businesses in the Metro Atlanta and Georgia are agriculture, real estate, financial technology for Atlanta. Fintech is what we refer to as an abbreviation. So much so that Atlanta is referred to as fintech alley. So many transaction alley actually. So many transactions in the fintech world take place right in the metropolitan Atlanta area that is richly known for that. And so we wanted to just give you a sampling of what Georgia, but particularly Atlanta, is known for. So people come here for business. And the state of Georgia, we have two ports. We have one in Savannah, Georgia, and we have one in Brunswick, Georgia. And they are not that far apart. Okay. So whenever you have ports, you have import, things coming in, and we also have export. And the largest port that we have in the state of Georgia is in Savannah, Georgia. And what they have done over the past several years is expand the port where we can take larger ships. So they, did like an excavation so you can have deeper, larger ships to come in. And they're continuing to make that port even more expansive. So what that means is you have a product, your company has a product, and you want to get it into the state of Georgia. We've got two ports that can accommodate that. Fintech, I know Mona's going to talk about Mumbai and India. What are the largest industries there? So I'm going to pause here and let her do that. And then we're going to bring you guys in. Mona, it's yours.
Thanks, Dana. Mumbai is one city which it's difficult for me to even describe because we have so much. But what I'm going to start with is that, in Mumbai was basically, I'll just tell you a very brief history. of Mumbai, it is a land of seven islands. And, we have reclaimed most of the land around the islands. And this was the land of the fisher folks. Okay. And ancient history is related to the nearby land. Okay. So we have connected all of it. And that's how Mumbai started. And then, people from Gujarat and the other states, they started coming here. So community from Gujarat and, mainly Parsis and Gujaratis, they are called as Hindu Gujaratis, they came here and they set up their businesses and they started with looms. Of course, they made money with a lot of exports and imports of opium. It started with opium, and that's where they made their money. But then they made factories which were called looms. So they made fabrics, and that's how the city flourished. They reclaimed the land and they did a lot of construction in the city, and it was like a new city. They made a new city. So if you come to Mumbai, there are remnants of these things, and there are ancient temples as well, which is part of the city. Why I said this is because ancient history about Bombay is often not said because it's considered a modern city. Of course, it's the modern city in India because it's the financial capital of the country. But there is a very subtle ancient history related to the city, and that's the beauty of the city. Now there are so many businesses that are flourishing, right from leather goods making to diamonds. We are the hub where diamond trade takes place. So that is huge in Bombay. The other industry that is coming up, of course, is the construction. I mean, there's so much construction happening in the city, and that's the huge business here. And now we have Mumbai, which is a land of seven islands. Then we have the suburbs, and then we have the new Mumbai. And now we are making the third Mumbai. So it's going to flourish all the more. We now have two airports in the city. Second one is going to be operational from May or June this year, and that's how we are flourishing. But apart from that, there is leather industry, there is IT, there's a lot of IT here. There is a huge education, colleges and schools. We have one of the finest doctors and hospitals in the city. One of the best hospitals in the country is the Reliance Hospital, which they made 10 years ago. So it's one of the best. And to start with, there are the banking sector, the trading sector, the Sensex. I mean, that is the stock market. The hugest stock market is here, the first one in the country. And what more can I say? I'm running out of words because, of course, fishing. So, and we have two ports here. So a lot of imports and exports take place. And it's a huge fishing industry as well, where fish is exported to the different part of the world. And a lot of exports take place from this city. Apart from that, of course, this is a cosmopolitan city because, as the city grew, there are not only the people who came from the past, like the Parsis and the Gujaratis. Now we have people from all over the country. So it's absolutely cosmopolitan. It's multilingual. And there is fashion industry, there is film industry. Film
Yeah.
industry is the largest here. And of course, compared to the southern industry, I mean, you mix the southern industry, it will come more in the numbers of statistics. But Bollywood is like the name is Bollywood, and it's huge. And people come here for fashion and to see these stars, and of course, the television industry. There's huge television industry here, which gives work to so many youngsters from all over the place who are interested in acting and creative field and all. Then we have beautiful paintings. We've got lovely art galleries in the city, and the exhibits take place from the various artists all over the world. So earlier, it only used to be the southern part of the city. That's the Seven Island, which is known as the southern part of the city. Now the city has grown in the suburbs, and it's huge. And I had an opportunity to go yesterday to meet my friends in the other part of suburbs, and I found it much more cleaner than this part of the city, the old part of the city. So, I will be very happy to say more if anybody has any questions. But of course, the food in the city, we get the best seafood here. Apart from Chennai, Cochin, and the other coastal areas of the city, but yeah, in Bombay also you get the best of seafood, and it's exported as well as eaten as well. And I don't know, just remind me if I'm forgetting something because there's so much in the city that, and of course, businesses. I mean, businesses are like throbbing here. It's still in there where, Bombay, people say it's the place to be. Now that the two-tier cities are coming up, but there are so many restaurants, all kind of cuisines, from traditional to the new ones where Michelin stars are here, restaurants are here, and the traditional the dabba wala. Not to forget that when people travel to town, there was a tradition where people used to live in the suburbs and used to travel to town, and their wives used to fill in the dabbas and then send it with the dabba walas, and that is one business which is recognized world over. So, the
The ba-
dabba wala business, yeah.
how
So
do you say
that is very, very interesting.
the bala?
Dabbawala, Dabbawala. Dabba is basically a box, lunch box. And
Oh yes.
they transport it, and they've got Six Sigma in their rating, so they never miss a lunch. They never miss a lunch, and the service is very, very cheap. They do it for free, and they use Indian Railways. Now the city has also. I should talk about the development of the city, where we've built very good roads around the city, so the commute is very, very easy from
Mhm,
south to north. Bombay is basically from south to north, and the west and the east is just the coastal lines. So
mhm.
we have the city. Actually, the entire city is also under construction. When we are constructing a lot of roads, also the coastal roads, which makes commute very, very easy. Now the metro has also started. Well, not over; it's still under construction, but it's started. So yeah, it's you come to our city, and you will see. And if you've come here before, please do come again, because you will see the vast difference. And I didn't realize till my friends came and they said, "Oh my God, the city has changed so much, and it's just become so easy to travel than before." So yeah, please, please explore. Come make Bombay your base, and explore rest of India. You can go to north here, from south here, and many parts of the central country also, which is rich in the wildlife. So there are many things and Bombay is the only city which has its own national park, which has leopards and other kind of animals here. So please do visit our city, and you will get a glimpse of a modern as well as a little bit of ancient India as well. So
Well,
that's it from me.
I was waiting to hear a little bit about tea. As a tea
Okay,
lover,
so tea,
con-
yeah.
you
So you
got
know
to talk
what?
about
In Bombay, there are, Dana, I was like thinking, if I keep on talking, this will never end. So I'll talk about tea, okay? Now,
please.
tea we call chai here. So
Yeah,
our favorite is the masala chai, which is mixed with masalas and mixed with mint and mixed with ginger
cardamom, mint,
and
cinnamon.
yeah, and we have that in the morning. Like the morning starts with a cup of tea. And Bombay has a very, very peculiar culture for bread. Okay. So the bread here is called pau. Okay. It's the Portuguese introduced us to the pau. And then there is we also call it a bun. And usually masala chai is had with bun maska. So, a lot of Parsi and Irani restaurants are there that still serve that chai and bun maska. And it's the bun is like white bread layered with butter, which you must have with your masala chai. Now, of
That,
course, modernization has gotten green tea and you name it, and we have it: rose tea and kawa tea and Kashmir tea and this tea and that tea, everything. And there are so many restaurants that serve that kind of tea. But you know what? Many restaurants, they are serving traditional breakfasts as well, along with the tea. So if you are a vegan and you don't have milk, you can have black tea, you can have almond tea, and they'll give you soy milk. So that is the modernization. But traditional tea is served in little glass, and it's also called cutting chai. So it's like when you order like a cutting chai, they give you in like two steel containers, little containers, and then you can share it with your fellow friend or whatever. So it's also called cutting chai because the quantity is very less, and you just sip. It's like a shot, you just take a shot of that tea or just sip that hot tea. So yeah, it has a very varied culture, and Bombay is very good for street food. Yeah, Bombay,
uh,
people will say, "Are you from Bombay?" And so I am biased. The best street food you get is over here. So
Oh,
my
you know,
fellow Global Chamber members from other part of the city, we can have a debate on this.
you were
The
gonna have
best
an
street food.
opportunity. We're gonna have an opportunity for that debate shortly.
Yeah,
I
we can do that.
if it doesn't excite you when you hear Mona talk
Yeah,
about
yeah,
the city
yeah,
and what it has to offer, I don't know what will excite you, other than
yeah,
me hearing a little bit more about Atlanta to excite you as well. So you
yeah.
opened up a few doors that I want to touch on that I didn't cover. So Atlanta is the busiest airport in the world, in the
Hmm.
and how they manage to do it seamlessly day in and day out. It just continues to amaze me. So if we're the busiest airport in the world, that means we are bringing people in and out and through our city all day, every day, throughout the night, um, for business, for family, for social. I say all good things must go through Atlanta. I am a believer of that. The other thing you touched on, too, Mona, because I'm bouncing off you, is healthcare. Yes, Atlanta, Georgia, or Georgia actually, the state of Georgia has some of the best healthcare system in the South. And one of the largest healthcare system in Georgia is called Wellstar, and they have 11 hospitals. And I used to work for them actually. And the one thing that's interesting about that, if you think about the entire United States, right? 50 states and territories, Atlanta boasts the fifth busiest emergency room in the nation. In the nation. I don't know if that's a good thing. And, we're known for sending people to the hospital, but we're taking good care of them too. So that's the one thing. And of course, some of the top universities right here in Atlanta. Um, I'm going to just give my alma mater a little shout out. So I would call this the Ivy League of the South, Emory University. So that's where I did my healthcare training and public health training. So, each of our cities has such a richness. And because we got to learn about the various versions and types of chai, and I love how you mentioned the box, the wala. What did you call that? The
Dabba
food
wala,
box,
dabba wala.
daba
Yeah,
wala. I'll work on my pronunciation. You help me with that.
yeah.
Um, I have to at least share with you some of the foods that are very commonly known in the Southeast, particularly Georgia, Alabama, and so forth. So coming to Atlanta, you'll have diversities as far as culture, meals, because if you have various languages, people from all over, you'll have the same for that. And I heard this lady mention the other day on one of the social media platforms, they were asking her in her travels, and she's a celebrity, they were asking her, what city would she consider to be the best for food in the United States? So I was waiting for her to say New Orleans in Louisiana or Chicago, even perhaps New York. But definitely, I was so surprised when she said Atlanta. And I shouldn't say that, but I was, because I've been to these other cities. And I guess sometimes when you live there, um, you're exposed to quite a bit. But when you travel, you try to make sure you try various things. So Atlanta is known for its cuisine as well, with some really top Michelin, I think 5 in the last year restaurant. But I'm curious, I can't wait to try some of your street food. So some of the southern food is collard greens. I got to throw that out there. Macaroni and cheese, um, yams, cornbread, fried chicken. We're known for that. Those are the southern um, signature dishes. Sweet tea, sweet tea. If you now you have tea there, but the tea here is sweeter than anything you've ever had. Um, and then I want to just touch base on one other thing. Mentioned hospitals, airports, universities, foods, and there's one other thing. But we're sharing with you some of the business, the culture, and when you travel, things that you want to consider. So what I want to present to our group, I want to invite Shankar on to introduce himself. He's one of our executive directors in India, and he's brought a team of people on. So, Shankar, if you would, please come on, introduce yourself, tell us a little bit about your city, and then we're going to entertain questions and how we can help connect people as we do, and we'll entertain that. So, Shankar, if you would, come on and unmute yourself. And I know we're putting him on the spot, but he knew I was going to. put him there. And we are reading your comments in the comment section. Bombay is the only city from across top 10, 15 to be featured as food capital also. Wow, I just love it. And seafood, top on my list. The other thing I saw someone posting
I
that
can have at least 10 episodes on the food of Bombay, let me tell you. I can
you,
talk on
you,
all about it. There's so
you have
much.
Mona,
There's
start
so
with
much.
pav bhaji. Start with pav bhaji and belpuri.
Pav bhaji, bhel puri, vada pav, bhaji pav,
Yes.
kanda bhaji. Oh my God, I can go on and on. We'll never stop.
oh, I love it.
So you know what? He's talking about pav bhaji, but I'm going to talk about pav bhaji as well as vada pav. Okay. So
Okay.
vada pav is Indian burger. Okay. So we have a potato, like a fried potato ball, which is enhanced with spices, and they fry it, and then they put it between a pav, the pav, the Portuguese pav, and they put
Yes.
some sweet chutney, some tikka chutney, and then that is like a street meal, where you can have like for you can have one or two for lunch along with your bananas and you're done. And you can have it as an evening snack. And that's one of the fastest selling items in Bombay. And the most iconic one, which is like they say that the only taste that you get of true pav bhaji is in Bombay. So it is basically vegetables which are mixed with masala and a load of butter. Okay,
Oh,
no
yes.
ghee, no oil, just butter, butter, butter. And that too is have with pav. So pav is this thing here. So pav, we have it with everything. I mean, if you're a Bombay person, you cannot live without your pav. But the interesting part is that now there are a lot of healthy versions that have come up. The millet pav and the bajra pav and the juar pav but nobody can match the original pav taste. So, so Bombay is very, very popular for this kind of stuff, and these meals are really reasonable. They are cheap, and you can have it on the streets, and because they are hot, they're just fine. You can just have them.
Yes.
And not
Well,
that, because they are keeping a very high check on the hygiene as well. So Bombay street food is really fine. If you
yeah.
if you have a sensitive stomach like mine, then you have to avoid chutneys, which I usually do. But otherwise, it's just fine. You can try everything. I mean, the other thing over here is like this is actually famous all over the country. It's just that it's given different names. The one is pani puri, which is like a round ball, and it's filled with water and some potatoes and some filling and spicy water is put in, and it's really yummy. So I have a few guests who were very, very adventurous and they wanted to have that. And I really distinctly remember that because I said, listen, it's water. So are you sure you'll be okay with your stomach? So I tell you a story. There was one of my client who was an architect. She was from New York. And then she was on an architectural tour of India, with me. So then she said that, oh, I want to try your street food. So I said, okay, come, let's go. So I was explaining to her, this is Pani Puri. And usually I take them to a sanitized place. But she said,
Yes.
can I please have it? But I was saying that, roadside one is a different taste to it. So she said that, can I have the roadside one? So I took her in one of the famous Pani Puri wala on Churchgate. So I said, listen, are you sure you want to have this? Because I am a little worried because you have 20 days to go. And I don't want your tour to get screwed. So no, don't
Right.
worry, nothing will happen to me. And you know what? I remember her so well. So when I went to I went to New York last when I went to New York, and I met her, and she was getting her parents here. So I said, "You are the one who ate pani puri." That's oh my God, you've got some crazy memory. You remember that? I said, "Of course." Not many people try that, but she tried it. She was just fine. She had a great time. So that's one thing which is the bhel puri and the pani puri is very distinct. I mean, it's available everywhere in the country, but Bombay, it's a different taste altogether. It's different.
Ah, is it because of the various ways of seasoning it, how you
Yeah.
use your spices? So I
Yes.
love some of my favorite is masala, chicken masala. I love
Chicken tikka masala.
yeah, chicken tikka masala. I like the dosa, that thin
Yeah.
bread as well. Um,
Yeah.
I I have an international palate, but Indian is at the top of my list. So let me
Yeah.
invite Peter to come on and say a few words. Shanka?
Yeah, Dana, you met me.
Yes. We, uh,
Hi.
we we have to have you say a few words. You're our executive director, and tell them, announce who you are, where you are located. and we want to make that connection palpable today.
Sure, sure. Hi, Mona. Hi, everybody else. Yogesh, Rabia, and Gunjan. Yeah, it's nice to see you all. I mean, I understand this is something that we are doing is a global, on the networks. I was meaning to meet Dana, and nevertheless, this is the best. I've been in touch with Dana for a while, and I'm based out of Ahmedabad. I'm the executive director. To talk a few things about Ahmedabad, I would second Mona saying that I know, I went to Bangalore recently, and I saw at the Bangalore airport written in big, it's written, India runs on chai. You know, chai is the fuel that runs India, whether it is high-level delegate diplomatic missions or just meeting friends. Anywhere you go, you will find chai in the mix. And that spurs up people's conversations, leading to collaborations and whatnot. So I would really second that. Chai is the best thing that has happened to us in India. And where I am based, if you look at the current, I won't go into the history of Ahmedabad, which is something that you can read. But what is currently happening is there is something, the semiconductor industry, that is something to be focused on. When you're looking at things between India and US, Phoenix, where our head office is located, is the location where semiconductor is. And I would really like to see how, Dana, we can collaborate to bring the semiconductor industry expo, which is taking place in, I think it is in March, April, but we can collaborate with that. Secondly, you mentioned about AI and Atlanta. You know, the fintech city is in Ahmedabad, which is called the GIFT. GIFT is actually financial technology city, and it is a special economic zone for finance. And if you think there is something that we can really work on, we have loads of things to do, in collaboration with Atlanta and see how to take it forward. Yogesh, pardon me, Yogesh is there, who is a recent, he's joining us as as a regional advisor. And he's very active and very creative, very innovative. So I'm looking to see how we can all pull this thing together and bring these resources and collaborations. So, Dana, did you want me to talk about the magazine that I'm just introducing?
I'm going to introduce that at the end because we want people to join us on Wednesday.
Okay.
And so I will introduce that. Thank you, Shankar. And your guest,
Thank you.
as well as our regional advisor. And as you all can see, this conversation today, this happens 750 times throughout the year with Global Chamber or more. This is how many Globinars or meetup that we have since last year, that many and growing. So being a part of this organization is, I don't really like to use the term no-brainer, but that explains it the most to me. If you're in business and you want to make connections easily and seamlessly, not just in your city or country, but around the world, Global Chamber is the way to do it. Shankar, if you would, just type into chat the Global Chamber link so people can follow that, theglobalchamber.org. And
of course, sure. I'll do that.
So what I'd like to do is just kind of recenter back with Mona and I talking about travel and experiences, connections and tensions, and then adding the component cultural awareness when you travel. So as an avid traveler as well, I do my research before I travel to places I haven't been before, particularly if it's going to be around business. And so, Mona, I'm going to ask you a few things. This will be our part of our discussion, and then we'll open it up to the group. So when traveling, most of us really want to have an experience that is memorable, enriching, culturally, sensitive, and where we make meaningful connections. What would you say as the owner of a travel business, and you've got business owners and organizations on the line and those that will be listening, what would you say that your business would do to make that an experience that's memorable, that's enriching? I mean, the Global Chamber can do the business part, but on the experience side, what would you say, Mona?
Okay, so in any kind of travel, whether you're traveling for business or you're traveling for leisure, or you're traveling for any adventure also for that matter, or any specific, I mean, specific task. Like this lady, she came for architecture, or some people come for just mere history, or some people just come for art and culture and things like that. The
Mhm.
fundamental requirement is when you come here, and that's where I come in. I give them information about the place, and it is never about which it's never about the specific place that you stay in. It's the specific people that you meet, and that is very, very crucial, especially your guides, whether they are storytellers or they are expert in a particular field, and or things like that. So it's very important, not only as a guide, but to make a local connection wherever you go, you know,
Mhm.
and experience the local culture. Like I encourage a lot of dinners with the locals, people who open their doors. So, they can have connections and they may find some kind of connect somewhere, or sync somewhere. Maybe it may be over a chai party, a tea party, or a
Yes.
wine party. Or, like a most recent one I can say is Festival of Holi, where, a particular
Yes.
hotel or particular spot, they organize holy festivities. They have food, they have drinks, and they have various things. And people from all parts of different countries who come and they enjoy it at one spot. So, my job as a tour operator is to enhance people's experiences so they can take back good memories. It may be now everybody may not have that time to go everywhere and do whatever, but at least one singer, like I personally go meet them, so that if I am connected to more people, I will ensure that their experience is enhanced, and I ask them about their interests, their likes, their dislikes. What do they like, and what food do you like, and what kind of clothing do you want, and how would you like to see? Would you like to see a Bollywood movie, or may it be for
Yes.
half an hour? I would take them for a movie, because it's so much fun to even watch it for half an hour. Because
Yes.
recently, I'll tell you a story where one of my guests, again, she was from she lives in Brooklyn, and she came and she said, I want to see a Bollywood movie. I may not survive it for very long, but I want to see it. And we went for 45 minutes, and we saw one movie which is recent, which is historical. And she was amazed with the kind of costumes, and because she could not understand the language, of course, so we could not sit for a while. But she said, oh my God, I wish I could understand what he's saying. And the costumes. And so, it is a connect where, it's the interaction which is very important. Because see, if you book a tour with any of the I mean, I don't know whether I should say this or not, but if you just book a tour through any of the portals, and if you connect, I mean, for me, you need not have to go through me, but you have to speak to somebody before you come here, to know the whys and the do's and the don'ts, and just to understand it better. A local touch in a country like India is very important. You- and especially when you come for a business, meet, that's
Absolutely.
very, very important, because that background is very, very important to know.
Well, let's get to that part about the business piece. But definitely, so India for Bollywood, that's an experience. Two things you said that really jumped off the page in this travel component is that you enhance the experiences. You know, we want experiences that are rich, that are memorable, that are enhancing, that are meaningful whenever we travel, as you said, for business, leisure, or whatever type of tour. So having
Yes. Or
someone,
even, India has a lot of medical tourism. A lot of people from Middle East countries, and even for that matter, even US and Europe, they come here because
that,
dental is
that's
very is reasonable compared to the other countries. The dental services, they are very expensive abroad, but and plus over here we have faster appointments, so there's a lot of medical tourism that goes on.
That's news for me. That is news for
Yes.
me. But one thing I wanted to share with the group as well, when you have these experiences with, traveling for various reasons, you capture those memories and there's stories to be told, right? There's pictures that tell the stories for you if you're capturing them. And some of you may I don't know if people print them out or you put them on a slide deck on your computer. You have them. But I want to encourage you as a writer's coach as well, is to write about these stories, journal these stories, and pass them on, because these are experiences that you can pass on to family. You can even make it into a book. So that's a segue to Global Chamber Author Series. We meet once a month, and we're going to be meeting this Wednesday. It's 11 o'clock Eastern time, so it's New York time. And we're going to be having a special guest, one of our authors. He's coming out with a new book, Shanker, who's on the line, who you just met a moment ago. He's also going to be introducing a magazine that he is intricately involved in and leading out, which is great for business owners. So what I say to you, I can only give you a little bit of that, is that you just click the link that he posted for Global Chamber. Consider joining us as members. And if not, consider, not right now, consider joining us as a one-time guest on Wednesday. All right? Do that. Let's entertain some questions and comments. All right, we'd like to open up your opportunity to raise questions around cross-border travel, business, anything that you have to do about what we've been discussing. Feel free to unmute yourself. And Mona and I are both monitoring the chat to see questions. Yes, I love the Indian runs on chai. I am a chai lover. Okay, we're checking the chat, but if you have questions or comments, because we have at least another 6 minutes, we'd like to entertain that. Because we can go on. All right, I don't see anyone unmuting themselves as of yet, and we're checking the chat. So what I will say, I'm gonna just do a little ad to for Georgia. It's the fastest growing film industry in the United States. Different tax incentives by our government. So quite a few movies are filmed here. Walking Dead. I should be able to name more than that, but I just can't right now. But it's the fastest growing film industry, surpassing California. Yes. Okay.
Oh, that's interesting to know. I didn't know that.
Yes. Yes,
I thought it was
absolutely.
LA, which is.
No, hey, Georgia. Next time we have a meeting,
Yeah,
I'll have.
somebody is saying that we can promote dental meditourism.
Hi,
Yeah,
Mona.
that.
Hi.
Actually, I'd raised my hands, but none of the ladies took it. Well,
Oh, sorry. Yes, sir.
when you're talking of Mona ji, dental tourism. In fact, I will tell you briefly of my company and our tryst with the Global Chamber Ahmedabad.
Yeah.
We
Okay.
are a full-fledged multi-consulting, multi-advisory LLP, limited liability partnership. We are Mumbai car by registration, but we are spread globally. Means we are locals by Mumbai, since our company is registered in Mumbai, India. But within just a time of 1 year, we are spread across in 6 countries and 3 continents. Now,
Oh,
this fascinates me because one of our managing partner, she is Dr. Saraswati Shanbag, in fact, and we are actually organizing for our global chamber fraternity, Meditourism, and we will be giving boost in the new financial year, April onwards, where global chamber can really benefit the members and its alma mater and fraternity can actually benefit from very good value additions in taking our services also. It's based in Mumbai, and I think Mona, you are aware of one of the best hospital, Criticare, after Ambani. Criticare is also very well known, and they provide meditourism in dental, orthopedic, and healthcare. So we will be glad to share the expertise. Second, Monaji, I would like to tell thanks to Shankarji's blessings and his support, what we will plan out is for Global Chamber Atlanta and all our non-India locations, we can have something like, business travel, which will focus on alighting at Mumbai, where they enjoy the food and then they come to Gift City to experience the tax-free benefits and all which will work out along with you. Shankar, am I right?
Wow, this is
Yes, sir.
amazing.
Of course. We can do
I think
that.
that's possible, right?
Yes, combine the Bombay is the ultimate cuisine, and the ultimate place to start your business in India is now in Gift City, which is the tax haven. So there's a great cooperation that Bombay and Ahmedabad can have with Mona and Yogesh and go forward. And we are very excited to do this soft land partnership, making it all easy
Yeah,
for
Absolutely.
exactly.
So
investments.
Yogesh, were
Yeah.
you based in Ahmedabad or Bombay?
I'm a Mumbaiite. I'm based in Andheri,
Mumbai.
suburban
Oh,
Mumbai.
okay.
And I
Okay. So
think
we
I had
must catch up.
just check out
We
your
must catch
LinkedIn.
up.
Yeah, I will
Okay.
just check out Mona your LinkedIn. I already tagged you on the LinkedIn.
Yeah.
Just accept my
Okay.
request.
Yeah, sure. I'll do it once this gets over. Once I get onto it.
Well, you know that
Okay.
that that is most amazing because the meditourism is the certainly the one thing that really informally greatly that you'll have access to that and it's growing. So that's news to me. And I'm so grateful that you share that. Would you put your link also in the chat for LinkedIn? Because, and we're not just you, but also anyone that's online. If we connecting on LinkedIn is really easy, and we also do quite a few
Yes.
of our global chamber offerings on LinkedIn. So if you're connected to us or global chamber on LinkedIn, it's just really easier to invite you to or be a part of, and certainly on the website that was shared. This is fascinating, Mona. I have a
Yeah,
feeling
absolutely.
we're going to have to do this again and get Andrabat focused.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Absolutely.
And with the focus on meadow tourism, perhaps we'll do that. My background is healthcare as well. We can bring some others on in our industry in the region to
Yes.
speak about healthcare. And people are always looking for opportunities to get the best
Yes.
enhanced experience,
Yes.
whether it's around travel, healthcare, adventure, you name it. Let's entertain at least one more question. And if we don't see your hand, just unmute yourself and speak because
And start speaking.
we don't want to overlook anyone. In the South, hospitality is king. We're very hospitable. I'm not saying that to say it. People generally say, wow, they're so hospitable. So we don't want to overlook anyone. Want to make sure everyone is served right here on this line. Thank you for sharing the Meditourism and about your company that's based in Mumbai. There we are. You can reach out there. You also have a LinkedIn connection that you can share there. And Mona, please share your information because they have to be able to reach you.
Yes, yes. I'm just doing that. I'm just doing that.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. Who else has a comment or question, or what are some new facts that you learned today that you're gonna utilize in your business moving forward? And one of the things we do here is that once someone posts their LinkedIn, we follow them, we connect with them, because you should walk away with a minimum of new connections today as a result of being a part of our cross-border Globinar. I also want to acknowledge Gemma. Gemma is our incredible, I'm not sure of your title, Gemma, but she's Global Chamber Magic Maker. That's what I'm going to call her, because she helps us put these events together seamlessly, professionally, and keeps it supported. So Gemma, we want to recognize you and acknowledge you. And today, if you would like to introduce yourself and let them know where you are located today.
Hi everyone, thank you for attending our Globinar, even it's Sunday. So yeah, I'm based in Philippines basically, but most of the time I'm in Singapore. But right now we're traveling here in Indonesia. So yeah, I'm the events manager. So if you have any future events upcoming or you're just planning it, feel free to share it on jemimaglobalchamber.org. So yeah, I can find dates and time for you and help you marketing it to our social medias. So yeah, thank you.
Gemma, as Doug would say, you're awesome, and from our heart, you are. Thank you. I noticed in the chat someone mentioned that the United States, the relationship with the United States and India really propelled forward during the Civil War as a result of the need for cotton. That's news to me. We always just get so much dynamic information when we have an exchange on our Globinars or our meetups. You know, sometimes circumstances create opportunities. So if you leave with nothing today, realize circumstances create new opportunities is what we choose to do with it. And I wanted to also leave on this note and then have Mona have the final words regarding Holi. So I want to say happy Holi. May your life always be as colorful and joyful as Holi. Sending warm wishes to you and each and every one of you and your family from Global Chamber. Mona, you have the final say.
All I need to say is that this was like one of the best. It was the first meeting after so long, and it was the best. I really had a great time. Jane, I wish you were here, and I'm missing you in Mumbai today. You know, we would
Me
have had a
too.
blast. And please, everybody, whoever's listening, Jema, lovely meeting you. I think I've just been getting your emails, but I've never had the time to respond. But now I will, because now I'm really okay. And the last word is that, yeah, everybody keep traveling and just enhance your
Yeah,
experiences.
absolutely. Mona, it has been an absolutely joy reconnecting with you, re-engaging with you, because you add value to lives. You add value to global
Thank you.
change.
Thank you.
And you're a great representative for your city and your country, as well as Shankar and Ragesh.
Yes.
And Miriam, I
Mona,
saw you.
Mona, I would
Yeah.
like to invite both of you ladies to tomorrow. I have organized a meet thanks to Jamie, along with two more frontiers of Global Chamber. One of them is Global Chamber Brazil, and another is Global Chamber Barcelona. Well, this is
Ah,
one explore.
Amazing. Oh,
This
wow.
it's at 11:30 in the night, because we actually are going to gun in a very big way for pharmaceuticals, and this actually, Monaji, will actually boost the business travel. In fact, maybe you may say I'm a hypocrite, but why all the travel people mainly say US, UK, Asia, but why not Latin America? In fact, Latin America is called
Latin America is very good.
hidden
Very good. Yeah.
hidden gem. And also,
Yes.
on after my meeting along with Doug, next year I'm going to have a meeting with Global Chamber in Africa. Why? Because
yeah.
this again is a blockbuster. In fact, Africa
You
is
know, in
called the
fact,
dark continent.
there are lots and lots of people from African continent, from Tanzania and Botswana and, South Africa. They come here because, one of my friends is a gynecologist, and she gets
Mm,
a lot of people from Africa for tourism.
yeah. You know, it's interesting. What's interesting is when I travel to Uganda, when I travel to Tanzania, the huge influence of Indian natives that live there. And of course, the history, because remember I said sometimes circumstances create opportunity. So when the railroad needed to be built in, also in Kenya, I go there, I feel like the food there is Indian food. It is.
Yeah.
Having samosas, they're having this. So
Yeah.
whenever there's circumstances in our society that changes, it
Yeah.
creates opportunity. So yes, we would love to be a part. I'm speaking for Mona too,
Yeah.
because I'm pulling her in. I'm pulling her back front and
Done.
center.
Done. 11:30, Mona, your time, India
I'll
time.
be there. I'll be
So,
there.
yeah, 3 p.m. It's Brazil time. Shankarji also
Yep.
will be there. And James, you can also join in. Without you, there is not fun.
Yeah.
No
Yeah.
names.
And I do get a lot of guests from the Latin America. It all through referrals, and they mainly come here for yoga.
Ah, well,
Mm.
listen, that's gonna happen. You guys make
No,
sure you
it's right. It's absolutely right. In fact,
Yeah.
when there was an event of Global Chamber United Kingdom of Laura,
Mm.
I told Laura that this is all as a part of our Indian culture. If an
Yeah.
Indian is
Totally.
promoted,
oh
yes,
yes. Well,
it's
with that,
there in our 5,000-year-old culture.
Yeah.
yes, Well, we want to thank each of you. We've got 1 minute left, and I want to make sure I close with the line that reminding you that we are global and unstoppable, Global Chamber. We're looking forward to meeting with you all tomorrow. And I've worked in the pharmaceutical industry, so I can't wait to see what connections we're going to make. So go forward, guys. Be global and unstoppable, and enjoy the perfect cup of chai. Thank you.
Thank you.
And
Thank
in
you.
India we say chai pe charcha, so we can do that.
Chai pe
So
charcha.
conversations over tea.
I love it. We'll talk
Yeah.
soon. Thank you, Tinker. We'll
Chai
see
pe
you guys.
charcha.